All right, click the links to join the channel here over at Subscribestar. I have a mailbox listed in links below if you want to mail me a comic you want me to look at or just whatever you want me to take a look at. So what happened? Well, there's the Hollywood writer's strike that is spreading to the actors, and I guess we'll probably go beyond that. Bob Iger gives this careful interview, and I'm trying to read in between the lines because there's just a ton of bull poop involved with that interview, and mostly it felt like a lot of it was lacking the admission of saying, yeah, Hollywood residuals are bad, but also Hollywood is not what it used to be. It's not connecting with the audience, and he's pushing this globalist propaganda, so he's not going to admit that, because then the next question, if the interviewer is being honest, is like, good luck there. Is the interviewer saying, so why aren't you making things that connect with the audience? And then it would be an awkward silence from Iger, because I'm a globalist, and Disney's a globalist company, and almost all of Hollywood is globalist. We're pushing globalist propaganda. We're not trying to sell a product. That's just part of this is part of, like, eventually people are going to get to that realization when they look at what Hollywood's putting out there, and you're like, you scratch your head, because you go, if you don't understand that, you look and you're like, it's not that hard to sell something that people want in Hollywood. You have access to all the money in the world, but they're just fundamentally not. At some point you realize, oh, my understanding of their motivation was different, as Sherlock Holmes said. Anyway, so he gives this careful interview, and one of some of the other points he's making is that the demands they have are not reasonable in terms of market forces, but people are pointing out that he makes hundreds of millions of dollars a year, as does everyone else, as Zaslaw's the other one at Warner Brothers, and the writers are making, what they make varies, but a lot of times it's going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, which is the issue of, the thing is, there's also like a deeper issue under that is the concept of inflation. And I know I'm not getting, this isn't getting off in the weeds. This actually is critically important, because the core issue is, until you fix the currency, all this is just deck chairs on the Titanic. Everything gets worse. That's the fundamental core issue. The idea of printing money not backed by anything other than military power is insane, because the left or right don't seem to focus on this issue. They're kind of both the parties of, they want to spend taxpayer money in their various own pet projects, but neither the left or right says, oh, we need to radically cut taxes. At least, for the middle class or whatever, even like, someone was pointing out, like, under 100,000, under like $150,000, like, start really cutting taxes way, way, way more seriously. And like, neither the left or the right is raising their hands and advocating that. I mean, maybe Ron Paul or Rand Paul, whatever there's like the two guys out there who are, everyone else is like, oh, no, we need to tax and spend and give to our favorite pet projects. It's like, oh, it's going overseas. Yeah, I mean, or it's, going into your own pocket. Nancy, if you look at how Nancy Pelosi didn't get worth $150 million via honesty. Anyway, I mean, the left is okay with, or they're both, the right and the left are okay with money overseas, and the left is more okay with, like, oh, we need to give the homeless homes and welfare and healthcare and open borders. And, honestly, if the choice is simply building homeless housing, like cities, honestly, that would be a better use of your money than giving money to Ukraine, Israel, and the other foreign countries. Or there's a ton of better uses for taxpayer money, but I mean, the primary one would be, oh, if you have money to give overseas or use for these projects, it's like, just cut taxes and let people spend the money themselves. And both the left and the right look at you like you're crazy. It's like, that wasn't, I mean, before 1913, that wasn't such a radical, because the left obviously is the left, right? But the right is not the right. The right hasn't been the right in a long time. So the concept doesn't work at all. People want higher pay, but if you don't fix the monetary system, it just causes Weimar inflation. They raise wages, and how dare you say Weimar? You should say Venezuela instead. It's more politically correct for the right. They raise wages and cost goes up. For some wacky, curious reason, neither the mainstream left or right discusses the Federal Reserve and the fiat currency. I think Rand Paul or Ron Paul, those are the two who will discuss it. And it's like, I hope they have pretty good security. Anyway, you don't want to get Seth rich or Epstein. It's funny, you think, like, Russia is known for deleting problem people, media, and politicians, like, yeah, they flat out do. America also does that. Nobody talks about it. Anyway, so the other weird thing is that almost nobody on the left is suggesting boycotting Hollywood in general. I saw one tweet suggested, it got no likes, and the responses were things like they mentioned the shows that they had to continue watching. Like, whoa, hold up on that boycott because season 3 of some crap is coming out. They were absolutely not willing to give up the bread and circuses. It was a bizarre admission that the mental soy slop is an addiction to them. And they were not shy about saying it. I looked at his response. I'm like, are you self-aware? You're saying like you're an adult and you're really on board this kind of stuff. You're an adult. It's okay to turn off all the streaming services. Hollywood in general, it's like if it disappeared overnight, you could read a book, or, as someone else pointed out, but this is a left versus right thing. It's like, or you could make your own entertainment. People used to do skits, and in the early days of YouTube, it's like there's no better time, or even like if you want to make like professional films, sort of professional films, like Kevin Smith black and white style. That buy-in cost is, even now with inflation, is probably under $250,000. I mean, for very basic films like that. You could do it, and the distribution is already in place, and like not enough people are looking at it and going like, yeah, the mainstream Hollywood is just not really. I'm not saying like $250,000 film is going to be the same as a $250,000,000 film for sure, but when the mainstream stuff is so bad it's unwatchable, you're like, oh, okay, hey, somebody wants to do a sketch for $200,000, Kevin Smith style black and white film. It's worth a shot. Like getting that kind of investment startup money is not an impossible hurdle. Anyway, so the idea of a boycott seems so easy. Yeah, the idea of a boycott seems so easy to me because the left and right could boycott Hollywood for various reasons, but then the left would be in the position of agreeing with the right, and they cannot do that. That's an existential crisis for them because they're more reactionary than the right. Here's the thing. On the spectrum of the far left, moderate left, and right, all are sort of brainwashed by various forms of propaganda. Only the far right is off the plantation and has some free thinkers. Though there's like mental propaganda, mental brainwashing for everyone. Like everyone has their own things they have to wash off. Like anyway, so here's the thing. On the spectrum, the far left, moderate left, and right are all sort of brainwashed by these things of propaganda. But the far right is different. And no, it's not confirmation bias. My evidence is that the machine only goes after the far right. The Andrew Tate talking about the machine? It's like, but my brother in Allah, at least for him, you are the machine. Everything you're pushing for young men is almost everything is like it's the fundamental controlled ops. Some things you're saying are good, but the fundamental core is cancer. My evidence is the machine goes after the far right, and the system ignores everyone else on the political spectrum. Only the far right is over target because only they get anti-aircraft fire. That's the uncomfortable truth, the elephant in the room that nobody will look at. Only the far right gets censored and deplatformed. Why is what they're saying so powerful that billion-dollar banks, financial institutions, media companies, and social media companies need to destroy them? Doesn't that make anyone curious? And no, Twitter is not a free speech. It's freer speech, but it's not a free speech platform. The other thing about the left refusing to boycott the shiny object bread and circuses is they don't want to change their behavior. They want to compel other people's behavior, these entertainment companies. And I suspect that there's something else going on, that the left needs its distraction a little bit more than actually probably a lot more than the right. The parasocial dependence, confirmation bias, affirmation that they get from the brainwashing machine that tells them that their worldview is correct and that the evil blonde Republicans are responsible for all evils. The left has this parasocial relationship with these billion-dollar propaganda companies, Hollywood. The right has relationships with individual other users on alternative social media that are tighter, where the right has individual relationships person to person, even if they are on social media, where the right likes each other more than the left likes each other. Um, and I say that because I've seen both sides of the relationship. That's why the left is more this hierarchy of forming relationships with the like a Disney corporation. But when they're in their own group, I don't think they like each other as much as the right likes each other on Gab or in Telegram, where you're forming actual friendships, because the left is quick to turn on each other and sell each other out for one little transgression, one little politically incorrect thing. Will get to have the left cancel the left. It's just not like that on the further right you go, where people are more tolerant of diversity of thought on the far right. It's like the narrative people have about you realize like the narrative is controlled by the far globalist left. And like people on the far right and the far left and across the spectrum still have this, like a lot of their thinking is going through a Hollywood spectrum. It's only until you get away from Hollywood for long enough, you realize, there's some, like the LARPy stuff on the far right is because they are viewing their worldview still through a Hollywood lens. Anyway, so the right wing, I don't think that I don't think they have any mainstream media that affirms their bias. The entire billion or maybe $1 trillion industry is pushing a toxic globalist left wing worldview. And if you add up all the Hollywood social media banking government corporations that are pushing globalism, that's definitely a $1 trillion industry, and they're all pushing globalism. And not enough people think that's curious and curiouser. To quote, I don't remember who said that. Anyway, was it the Jabberwocky guy? I can, I don't remember who wrote that. It's like you could pause the video and look it up and sound smart. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Join the Subscribe Star if you wish, or check the mailbox if you want to send me a comic book. And I will see you guys on the next episode.